Solo.
And hello! Welcome to Solo Playthroughs. We are here with a demo copy for the second time. I'll tell you what, these evening streams are just as hard on me as they are on some of y'all out there. Tabletop Taco, Storytime with Greg, sci-fi style. That is accurate, very accurate. There is a lot of story in this one for sure. Yeah, this is a demo copy of Rogue Angels. It's the second demo copy I've put on the channel. The first demo copy was indeed the expansion to Merchants of Magic. This is a very different game. We went from roll and write to Gloomhaven in space, for real, and I love it. I keep telling myself I'm not going to back this one in late pledge. It's on gamefound now. I think I'm lying to myself. I would have said that like 3 weeks ago, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to late back this one before the opportunity ends. So it raised $150,000 or 150,000 euro. Convert that to dollars. Somebody who's smarter than me on GameFound, and I really dig it, and I really like the designer. Designer and I met up on Tabletop Simulator at some point, and he kind of gave me the rundown of this game, but then it just took me a while to actually get the physical demo copy in my hands. The demo copy I don't think is doing full justice to the game. Originally I thought I'd probably play through all the content I got, and now I think I'm just gonna do this and then late pledge and then wait until I get it next year and actually play the whole thing. And I mean the whole thing. There's a lot of content that's going to be coming, but I don't know. You can check in with me in 2 months and ask me if I late pledge this thing or not, because I'll make my decision by then. But I mean, this really is a dungeon crawler set in space. It's super interesting, and I love the convenience factor that this thing brings. I mean, just the book of maps, the really streamlined rules as far as movement and line of sight. I find even the way the missions are laid out, and you're not like finding more tiles. Like, look, I love Frosthaven, I love Gloomhaven as much as anybody. Well, not as much as I like Frosthaven and Gloomhaven a lot. But I mean, more I'm playing Frosthaven, I mean, how long these missions are taking, I'm like, oh. And this is a little snappier. It's quicker. It's a little freer. The system's a little bit more flexible. I don't know how difficult it is, but I've only played like an intro mission so far. I'm going to be doing scenario 2 for this, so if you hate spoilers, don't watch this. I thought I would do more of it, but again, the quality of the demo stuff, it is, again, the most demo thing I've ever touched in my 5 years of doing this channel, 4 years of doing this channel. I think it's 4. But I think there'll be enough for me to kind of talk about as far as the rules. And then we'll kind of, there's just a lot of simplicity, but a lot of depth. I think the card play system is real smart. And yeah, M.O. Larson, it just strikes me as a dude who just cares a lot, like, about little details and gameplay experience. And if you look at the early ratings on BGG, I mean, it's above a 9, which is telling. You look at the early reviews. This actual demo copy was sent to me directly from Professor Meg. If you don't know who she is, she works along with Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. So I watched her video, a couple of other videos, and there's just a sense of like, this is just interesting. I mean, it does novel things with a dungeon crawl kind of system. I mean, it doesn't give me the same like brain burn that Madara does, right? And that's the thing. Like, the reason I haven't backed this already is I'm looking at all these like campaign games, campaign-ish games. I mean, I have Oathsworn, we have I have Madara, I have Aeon Trespass Odyssey, I have again Frosthaven, and I take another year to get through because again the scenarios are so damn long. Yeah, I got Uthia coming. I have the second Tainted Grail. I mean, it's like, I have all the Solomon Kane stuff I really want to start digging into, but there is something about this that I'm like, man, I could see my group, my campaign group, really liking this, and it's just, I don't know, it's real cool, and I could see, like, once it gets out in the wild, a second printing, I could see this being one of those games that really kind of grows in how widespread it becomes in the industry, because I just think it does so many things really, really well. The character development's interesting. You have each character can kind of develop in 4 different ways. You have these quadrant systems, and based on how a character develops, can really start triggering their action cards. And then you have, I don't have them because I only have the demo. I've only said demo like 17 times. Stay tuned, I'll say it 17 more, I assure you. But there are other cards you could upgrade to, and there's a whole lot of like interesting things that happen with relationships as you go. So you have like these charts, and you can kind of see like who you develop a relationships with, and how that kind of, presumably that's going to affect the story and your decisions. And I don't have a lot of that stuff, right? So for me, I'm like, maybe I don't want to play through this chapter. Maybe I just buy the sucker and I play through this chapter in the future. And I mean, this chapter book is 200 and something pages. The full Kickstarter has 7 chapters. So that's like 1,000 and something pages. It's insane. And a lot of that, though, is because it tries to be so like player friendly. Like, I'm really big on that. I've appreciated that more and more and more over the last 4 years of doing this channel. And I've learned so many games, and games that make it easy for me to learn and easy for me to dive in, I love you more. And the games that don't, I'm looking at you, Imperium. Not Twilight Imperium 4th edition. I'm talking Imperium, the Legends and Imperium Classics. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at Aeon Trespass Odyssey. I'm looking at, and again, I think I would love that game more if it just wasn't so freaking hard to dive into. I'm looking at those games and I'm like, oh, but this is like, man, simple, streamlined, done. Here's a book, lay it out. I mean, I set this game up, and I only have the demo, right? So I didn't have to unpack an entire box, but I set this thing up in like 5 minutes, right? And it takes 20 minutes to set up a thing of Gloomhaven, and that's a thing that matters more and more to me the more I do this stuff. So Alfred Wallace, hey, neat, a stream and a game I've never heard of, a good thing. What's up, Alfred? Hope you are doing well out there in the Dakotas. Pretty sure it's the Dakotas. I don't know, let me know if I'm wrong, dude. But let's get into this. Again, this is scenario 2, location, vexation, refueling station, orbiting Gehenna. So in scenario 1, so one of the things I think is like interesting is we're not really sure what we're doing yet, but the story is kind of evolving to kind of let us know. But in scenario 1, we essentially entered Vocation, Fury's Fall, Brimstone Base, and we busted out of there with this guy, Umbracius. Now, Umbracius is of a type of species that is the same species that Laelia. So I have Laelia over here and Zalia over here. They have origin stories and stuff. I'm not going to read all of that here today, but Laelia is of the same species. So she actually starts with a one relationship thing with Umbracius. And I'm sure I'm butchering all these names in ML. Larson, if you want to put a phonetic guide in the comments, if you have nothing better to do, trying to deliver a game. This is supposed to deliver like November of 2024, by the way. So it is not. The Blade Pledge is going to be open for a minute, so it should be probably well into next year, probably sometime in spring, when I'm assuming they're going to lock all of this down. Anyway, speaking of things locking down, I'm like all over the place today, guys. I'm sorry. This is what you get. So I did just get an email today that Herman Lutman's new zombie game, which is going through GMT, is actually about to deliver status collected money. So that's super interesting. So psyched about that, and hopefully, Primal will be delivering in the next for a month or so, because they're about to collect money for shipping. So exciting times here, although I have no time to do this as much as I used to, but that's fine. That's fine. The time I do it, it's just that much more special. That's what we have going on right now. So mission brief C2. and we're going to just go into this. Embracius in person. Throughout the years, the assembly, he talks like this, I don't know why, has tried to flush the Hellfires out of Vexation. Now, the Hellfires are like these like human thug kind of dudes, so we kicked some of their asses in the last scenario, and actually we tarnished our relationship with them because we decided to kill a few of them on our way out. So that was mean of us, and that's gonna come back to haunt us in a way in the future, I'm guessing, but we'll see. To try to flush the Hellfires out of Vexation, but to no avail. Well hidden from Assembly enforcement, the Hellfires started broadening their horizons beyond regular piracy. Rumor has it that the pirates have allowed various factions, corporate, criminal, and governmental, to establish research outposts within Vexation, earning them vast sums of protection money. The goal of at least 2 of these facilities is to develop new antimatter technology with the potential to reshape entire planets, maybe even stars themselves. But since it happens outside of the Assembly's jurisdiction, everyone can happily turn a blind eye. The polity will pay handsomely if you and your team can assist with acquiring some of that research. It will help us establish viable colonies and territorial security in our region of the galaxy, establishing a true home for our people beneath these new stars. Locating any of these research sites, or the primary Hellfire base for that matter, is almost impossible due to the heavy planetary atmospheres and the complex radiation patterns so close to the suns. But I've come across a few supply records giving us the first clue of where to start looking. So whenever you're ready, I suggest we begin. You ready your gear and your team and approach in the ship. I'm sorry. You ready your gear and team as the ship approaches its target. So we are going toward a refueling station. So the Hellfires are kind of our bad dudes. We know that we're gonna be battling with them multiple times. It does seem. I should say again. Everything you see here is subject to change. This text is subject to change. The pictures are subject to change. The cards are subject to change. These tokens are just placeholders. These are nothing here is final. I mean, literally, these dice have stickers put on them. There's going to be a bunch of standees. These are just like cardboards folded in half. The stands are cool. They have health meters. I mean, again, so much of this is like, I love you. Yeah, so lots of cool things that I like. I'm shuffling the damage cards right now. I'll explain how damage works as I go, and I'll explain a lot of the rules again. The plan at least is as I go. The quality of this is going to look a little like whitened out, but this is not the final version. Again, this is a map book that is just produced for this. This is basically a grid of just the ship. We had to get onto the ship, or one of the ways we could have won the last scenario was getting on the ship. I did not get on the ship. I decided to kill all the Hellfires. Oops, it happens. This token up here should be like the shape of a battery to indicate when a player's taken their turn, and we'll talk about what that all means. And this blue token represents number of shields we start with. The rules don't say. I'm assuming we start fully shielded up and fully re-rolled up, but the rules really don't tell us, but I think that's what makes sense, but I'll have to confirm that with Emil. The pictures all make it seem like you start with those fully charged. So if that's wrong, I do apologize. All right, what's going on? Tabletop Taco, tell us about your new gig that steals your time away from your beloved fans. I work for the courts in Philadelphia, sir. So helping ensure justice is done for all. Enough about that. Let's move on. So mission layout. So we are going to place 3 blocked entrances. Yes, here we go. So we're on map tile 2. We're going to place the ship here. We're placing 3 blocked entrances. I think I have some of those. So this one's going to go here. Again, that's terrible, but it is what I got, kids. Are there more blocked entrances over here? So you're going to have to bear with me a little bit. I'm still figuring out exactly what I have in this demo copy. Are you a blocked entrance? Nope. Oh, it's a door. Do I only have 1 door? Tell me I have more doors. Nope. More door. The door. Another door. Great. So we're going to take this. We have all these little stands here. I gotta keep. I'm assuming Emil's gonna want this demo copy back at some point, but I'm not sure. There were 50, according to the box, there were 50 of these demo copies made. So it's pretty cool to see how the sausage is made a little bit more than I've seen it before, for sure. So that goes there. Obviously, I mean, there's some things that are going to be self-explanatory. The red lines are uncrossable lines. They block line of sight. Blah 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 blah. Line of sight, I believe, is the center of. Wait, that's not a blocked entrance. I'm lying. All right, that's a blocked entrance. That's a blocked entrance. Line of sight is from the center of a box to the other center of a box. I can confirm that real quick. Yep, we only care about the center of the boxes, so that's super simple, and I appreciate that. We're gonna need some other tiles. This tile goes here, so that makes that a room we cannot enter. This tile goes here, that makes that a room we cannot enter. And I need one more of those. This tile goes here, makes that a room we cannot enter. We're going to have 2 consoles. I already have one of those made from mission 1, so we're going to put this here. Adjacency you could be if you're touched the line at all. So even if you're at the corner, you're considered adjacent to something. That's important for the thing of interaction. Interaction is a thing a card we will be playing pretty often. And again, I really dig the card play system a whole lot in this one. Console. We need 3 blocked entrances, 3 doors. So I'm sorry, these are the blocked entrances. These are the doors. To open a door, you do need to interact with it. We are, in a science ship, people. It doesn't just open. We have to fiddle with it. If you like it, then you gotta fiddle with it. All right, we're gonna put this console over here, like so. And the team can start here. You cannot play this true solo. You do need to be playing it with 2 players. It is very much not an onerous task with this game. In a way, I like this door is here. Just misread that a little bit. So we'll go here and here. Alrighty then. So this is Lelia. I wish there was a way. Is there a better way to distinguish her? Maybe I'll just put like a red hat on her. Will that work? I don't know. I think you're gonna just trust me. I mean, it is what it is. It's a demo copy. Heroes will have minis in the final game, just like Gloomhaven. Just be. I'd hope a Spiral Bound book is not subject to change. After reading through Uprising Spiral Bound rulebook, that's something games need more often. Yeah, for sure. Well, the Spiral Bound book is. I mean, these books are huge. The chapter books are crazy. The rulebook's actually fairly thin because the game, doesn't hate players like other games do. Hey, on Trespass Odyssey. Man, I wish that game just sucked so I could just ignore it and never think about it again. But that box is always going to be looming large until I finally take it out again and play through that ridiculous game. All right, so 2 consoles. We're going to have TS patrol droids in R1 through 4. So TS patrol droids. What do they look like? All right, so I have to find some patrol droids here. Are you a patrol droid? Nope. Introduction notes, and then EBC. Oh, okay. The EBC is the control for the enemies. Sorry, this might take a second. So I have this stack of foldable things. Enforcer, security officer. Hello, officer. Aaron's here, kids. Do I not have patrol droids? Reaver patrol drone. Nope, that's a drone. That's not helpful. There's a patrol droid. There's supposed to be 4 of them? What is going on, kids? It seems like all 4 of them are in play. I could be wrong about this. but usually they'll have slashes like 2, 3, 4 based on player count. That's a hunter drone. So this must be like some continuing pattern of stuff here. Hunter drone, but that doesn't help. And again, this was sent to me from at least one other content creator, so I'm wondering if some things got out of order. Because it's definitely not alphabetical. And oh my gosh, tune in to solo playthroughs. Watch Greg wrestle with pieces of paper. I'm not sure there's a fourth one here, and I'm not sure it's worth the time it would take to find it. Jesus. Yeah, I'm not gonna find this fourth one. We're good. We're gonna just make do without it. So the fact that they're red significant. Now enemies come in two colors. You have red enemies and you have yellow enemies. And that's super interesting. And one of the things I really like about this game is the enemy activation. It's not like the same pattern of like Gloomhaven or so many other. I'm gonna sneeze. Hold on. Woo! That was exhilarating. All right. It's not like the pattern of so many other games where it's like the enemies go, you go. Enemies go, you go. Enemies go, you go. This is like the one player goes, some of the enemies go, another player goes, some of the enemies go, and I think that's really interesting. It makes for a very dynamic gameplay experience, and it also means that the play between like the action doesn't like the enemy phase can be like, oh, all right, whatever, you control the enemies, let me know where we're going, like everyone's more engaged because like there's more things happening, like over and over and over again. So this is patrol 1, 2, 3, and they're all the same stats. I can't find 4. I'm not gonna It's gonna take me an hour to find it. I'm just gonna put 4 there. So there are 4 of those suckers, even though I only have 3. Josh B doesn't hate players like other games. That's some good marketing for the Bucks. Emil, here's your new tagline. Doesn't hate players like some other games. Amazing. All right. Remember that TS refers to your team size. Oh, okay. That I did not remember that. Thank you, Emil. C doesn't hate players or content creators. So team size is only 2. So I only have 2 patrol droids. One in R. So we have R1 and we have R2, and that's it. This guy's brilliant. All right. EBC, systematic patrolling, and it starts on the red side. That's super cool. Now, so these are all the behavior cards for the game, and I'm assuming there's going to be a lot more of them in the final version, but who knows? But they're freaking fantastic. It's like instead of like, oh, I need to get all these deck of behavior cards and I need to do this. No. This is what they're going to do in this scenario. It's always linked to what the scenario's happening and what the enemies are. It's freaking great. All these cards are double-sided. Yellow on one side, red on the other side. So when you're activating the red enemies, guess what? You're going to be on the red side. Activating the yellow enemies, guess what? I know, you're all brilliant. I don't even need to say it. So this tells us, hey, we're going to start on the red side. When the enemies activate, the first thing you're going to do is flip the card over if there are any enemies that correspond to the other side. So if you have 2 red enemies or 2 yellow enemies, you're essentially going to be flipping this every time the enemies activate, which is super cool. However, since there's only red enemies, we're never going to have to flip it. It's just going to stay on this side. I'm actually going to switch these up so I can have this behavior card closer to me. All right, now I'll talk about what this does as we go. Super interesting, and actually I'll just put this, I think the ship's just there for thematic flair, so I'm just going to put this on the ship so it's not so far away. Great. Introduction note, since all patrol droids have red bases, you will not use the yellow side of the base of the EBC. That's the something behavior card. I'm forgetting what the E is for. But keep activating the red side. This also means that R1 and R2 will continue to be activated while they are the lowest initiative. So if there are more than 4 droids, if there are more than 2 droids, not all 4 are going to activate every turn, but you just activate R with the lowest initiative and then R with the second lowest initiative. And then that is an alternate behavior, which again, I'll talk about as we go through the EBC when the enemies actually activate. I don't know what that symbol means. That is I don't know what that means. I forget what that means. It's a thing. That means it's a spinning disc of death. I don't know what that means. I'm not gonna be that worried about it. I don't think it's gonna affect anything. Yeah, it doesn't tell me. I mean, I think we just reminder we need to put this out, which is like our timer. So Embracia says these old refueling stations run on a skeleton crew, so it's unlikely you'll run into any sentient beings here. But be aware of their automated security systems. They have droids patrolling the hallways, and make sure you disable the entire security system. That'll shut off the droids and let my crew hack the terminals. So we want to shut off the security system. So we're going to have to interact with those consoles to make that happen. Now, mission parameters, success, we need to disable both consoles. Remember, there's a console there, there's a console there. These guys are, they're going to move 2, super interesting. They have 5 health. They're doing 2 damage, range 3. All right, that's all the stats on their card. So we'll figure that out together as we go. Now, turn limit. So we have 14 turns to do this. So that's not 14 rounds. That is literally 14 turns. And there's actually only 13 turns. So as soon as this hits the 0, bam, we miss. Game over. So we have to disable both of these consoles in 13 turns. Triggers conditions. If players find themselves within the range and line of sight of the enemies at the end of a player turn, or if they attack an enemy, change the EBC to automated attack. Change success 1 to eliminate all enemies and decrease the turn token by 2, 3, or 3. So if we're in range of line of sight at the end of a turn, all of a sudden, hey, this disable console thing goes away, and now all of a sudden we have to kill those things. So we're going to try to be a little stealthy and see if we can't pull this off. If the turn token reaches 0 or all players are unconscious, restart the mission. Let's try not to make that let that happen. So if success, continue to C2. That is mission update 1A. That is on the next page. I think, yep, it is. So let's start this puppy. Now, while both players have their batteries fully charged, we can choose either to make this thing happen. The player starts arranged at the end of a player turn. How the heck are we getting in there, yo? We need to like lure that guy. Can we close the door that's open? Oh, I don't know. Oh, can we close doors? I never read this. I never thought about closing doors. I just wanted to open those suckers. Yeah, generally with doors, you were just doing the interact to open them. I thought there was a, yeah, conscious. Here we go. And maybe it's block door? No, that's not block door. Interact. Nope. Nope. All right. I think we're good. We'll figure it out. So I believe we have to interact with the doors to open them, and then we'll kind of go from there. So we are gonna do. Still not sure how the heck I'm not going to be in range and let us say at the end of a player turn. So it's player turn, mission check, then enemy turn. So I guess we could be in a line of sight at the end of an enemy turn. They're going to move toward the player with the least shield. Pull the nearest player to line of sight required. So range not required for this, but line of sight is. And then you damage the nearest player. Range is required for that. The activated enemy is not within range and line of sight of a player when it ends its activation. Include this as the last action. The activated enemy is not within range. Include as the last actions. So are we only doing the final thing of that then, I think. Enemy setup. Use instead. Last video did not move during the activation. Include. So I think we're doing this as the last actions. I don't like this wording, Emil. I was just singing your praises. What the? Example A. Cause the last action as an ability and not a... Taking one... Include as the last action. Do enemies only do one action a turn? Enemy's turn. The actions they perform, all behaviors... The fact that it says include, I'm guessing they do 2 actions. If it says instead, I'm guessing it does one or the other. I mean, that's the most intuitive way to read this. So I'm just going to go with that. All right. Oh, prototypes. All right. So Zalia. When it ends its activation, include as the last actions. All right, we're gonna do Zalia first. I'm gonna try to have these suckers go there, and then I can have Lelia kind of run up, and hopefully get into that door pretty quick. So Zalia is gonna go on her turn. So she has all these cards. Each of these cards have a 0 to a 4 up the top, and the card number is going to go, it tells you what slot it goes into. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 across. So if it's a 0, the nice thing about 0 is you play it and then immediately get it back. So I'll just actually play it like on her, and then we immediately get it back. In here, again, we have this information. I think those are good things that get filled. Those are scars that get filled in as you go. We don't have any scars yet, so we don't have to worry about that. Zelia does have a special ability. She's a close combat specialist. If she has 1 or more enemies adjacent to you, you have 1 free reroll per action. So she's going to try to get in here. Let's see if we can't disable this computer. So the first thing we're going to do is we have to get adjacent to this door so we can start to open it up. And the abilities to do that, so we have a basic move 1, which is fine. Now you can cut corners with movement. Again, movement is very flexible and pretty straightforward, so I appreciate that. So it's not like Madara is like, oh, you have to, like, the Madara does weird things with corners that this game is like, no, we're just going to be a lot simpler than that. So we will play our move action, because why not? So it's a basic move, and there's a die there. So we're going to roll this die. Now it's a move 1, and then we get to roll this die. The die says +1. So we can add the 1 to the number in brackets there. So now we can move 2. We're going to go 1, 2. I'm going to stand right there. That's a 0. So we have 2 actions we can do on our turn. So that was my first action. I bring it back to my hand. The second action, we're going to do a decipher device. I interact. Ooh, that seems dangerous. I'm rolling 2. do damage. Nah. We're gonna do this. So we're gonna interact with an adjacent object for 0. So we're gonna do this. Nah, that's risky. Now we'll do basic interact. So it's another 0 card. So I can deal 1 damage to an adjacent enemy, and I can roll a die to try to enhance that. I can interact with an adjacent object for 1. I can roll a die to try to enhance that, or I can heal an adjacent or unconscious character for 1. I can roll a die or try to enhance that. I'm going to try to interact with this door, and I'm going to roll this +1. So I'm interacting 2. Now, these tokens, again, this is a prototype. This is not what the final thing's going to be. But in this bag, there are different colors. So you have yellow, we have red, we have purple, and I think there's a 4th color in there. And then there are some whites in there. The whites are basically wild. We can draw as many as we want, but if I draw 2 whites, I have to put everything back. If I draw 1 white and a thing, I can keep all things of the same color I draw, and I can count whites as all colors. If I draw different colors, I can only choose 1 and keep that 1 color. So I'm going to draw 2 of these, and I can draw up to 2, so I don't have to keep drawing if I don't want to. If I don't say I get a white first, I don't want to risk losing. It is what it is. So I pulled a red. I'm going to pull a second one. So I want a red or a white at this point. What do we get? I got a white. Perfect. So I can count those 2 as I need a matching set of 3 to be able to open the door. So I can count those 2 as being 2/3 of the way there. They're just going to stay out of the bag. Had I drawn like a red and a blue, or a red and a purple, if I kept the red, the purple would go back in. And but this stays out to indicate that I've already started interacting with that door. And then it actually goes into the 0, and then comes back to my hand. Had I played a higher level card, so say I played like a 2, at the end of my turn I get a free rest, and now that becomes a 1. The next turn it would come off and go back into my hand. I love that rest system. It reminds me a lot of, I only played the demo of, what's the friggin' Too Many Bones, Elder Scrolls thing, where like the fatigue system and how things get jammed up. I just like the recovery here. I think it's more streamlined and more intuitive and less prone to like be broken. But again, I just played a prototype of that, so I'm going to be, maybe it's going to be fixed. But that is the end of my 2 actions. I have a free rest, which again, I have nothing to rest, so I don't need to do that. And then I'm going to flip this to indicate I've done my activation. So make sure next turn has to be Lilia's, and I decrease the turn order by 1. Mission check. Do I trigger an end of the mission in any way? Obviously I don't. And now we do the enemy's turn. So we're going to activate the red enemy. So 1 is going to pull the nearest player 2 spaces closer to this enemy, but there is none in line of sight. So there's no way from here they can draw a line without getting screwed by this red box in the middle. And then they're going to do damage to the nearest player, and that does require a line of sight and range. Now, since they did not end their activation within range and line of sight of a player, it's going to include this. It's going to move toward the player with the lowest shield. The player with the lowest shield is Lilia, so it's going to be moving 2, 1, 2, and then it's going to try to do damage. It can't. We're going to do activation for this guy. He is going to go to this part of the card. He's going to move toward the player with the lowest shield. 1, 2. It's going to do damage. Again, no range or line of sight. And then it's going to move to the player with lowest shield. 1, 2. I don't think they can move through each other, so that's going to be like different than Gloomhaven. I don't think anyone can move through anybody. I'm pretty sure I can't move through Zalia. Mission check, play sequence, action, move. A player cannot move through other characters or objects. Yeah, so move is pretty. Nope, that's it. You have to have a clear path. What's going on now? So we still kind of want to get over to here. I mean, I could leave her as like a bit of a decoy and kind of draw them around and like try to sneak in there really quick. But man, we have to break into so essentially we have to use all the colors to kind of do what we want to do here. So I think if I come, what's that movement? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or wait, 1, 2, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I should go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so if I stand in this corner, I can help open that door for Zalia. That's probably my best bet. So Laylia is going to pick her cards. Again, we're doing some of the basic cards. We don't have any upgraded cards yet. We're still very early in the process here. Oh, I have a hacking drone. But again, a hacking drone, that's range, that's a 3, so I would lose that for quite some time. Now I could do a rest action to kind of speed the process of it coming back to me, which I don't hate. I don't want to be stuck in no man's land. Oh man, I don't like. If a player finds itself within range of line of sight at the end of a player's turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. At the their turn, I would be in range of line of sight. Maybe I use the hacking drone. I do have line of sight on that door. And then I could try to get this back. This might be the best, most helpful thing that I can do. But I don't know how the heck I'm getting around these drones. We'll have to figure it out. All right, so I'm going to play this at a 3, the hacking drone. I'm interacting with an object for 2 within 4 spaces. So it's a flat 2. I can enhance that. Now I can roll dice. If I roll dice, what this can give me is some movement to my action, which could actually be very, very helpful. So the dice, sometimes when you roll the dice when it has the brackets, those numbers can be enhanced, but it doesn't have the brackets. There are still reasons why you might want to roll some dice. So Lelia is going to play the hacking drone. She plays it to the 3. We're rolling 2 dice. I got 0 movement. I could maybe re-roll that. I got extra shields, but I'm already max shield. So the re-rolls, I could spend 1 thing to re-roll 1 die. I forget how to, you can concentrate as an action to get those things back. I really wouldn't mind some movement, but I have other ways of getting movement, so that's fine. So that's done. I'm not going to worry about not having the movement. And now I'm interacting for 2, so I'm just pulling 2 things. I'm hoping for a red or a white. Let's open this door. That's a white. Ugh, taking all the whites out of the bag. Sure, we're going to, well, I might as well, if I pick another white, well, most of the whites are out of here. The chance of me pulling another red is pretty small. Just wondering. We'll gamble. Gamble, gamble. It's a purple. So I'm going to keep the white. This bag is fraying. Keep the white. That's enough to open this door. Thank you, Hacky Joe. Now, these have come out of the round from my understanding of the rules. So those are out of the bag. But this door is now removed from play. So now on her turn, Sally will be able to go in and start hacking that computer. And now I'm going to perform a basic move action. I'm moving 1. It's a 0 card. I roll 1 die. Give me some extra move, please. Great. Now I can take +1 move or a point of movement. So I guess I'm going to take a move. I kind of want to move, I think. Do I? I don't know. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, at the end of a player turn. Oh, do I have to move back? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be end of a player turn. So any player turn. I think I need 1 more movement. Do I have like a run? man, I'm gonna need to run. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I move back here because he's gonna be there at the end of this guy's turn. Oh man, I'm screwed anyway. He's gonna be there at the end of my turn. It's gonna be range and line of sight. Let me think about this. So if I get 3 movement, I would need more than 3 movement. I actually need to go in that room. I should have re-rolled before. I should have re-rolled before because I should have realized that. Are we really just fighting these guys? I was gonna try to hack them. Change success 1 to eliminate all enemies. Yeah, I don't see how I avoid these guys. Four. Because this one's going to keep moving 4 paces every freaking time. Include as the last actions. When it ends its activation. Alright, I already used the reroll. I'm still going to try to say this. To put this, so this is what I rolled. So I get 1, and now I'm doing this move 1, and I need a 3. Woof. Yeah, I need to hide in there. All right, now I'm going to do this move action. Let's see if I can't get move 3. So that was the one when I rolled that die again. I had a movement as part of the hacking drone thing. And now I'm going to try to just... There we go. So that's 2 movement plus the 1 there. So I'm going to move 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I didn't go through the space with Zalia, but now I've cut off some line of sight possibilities, which will help maybe see if I can't do this stealth style and instead of just like killing all enemies here. So that's the end of my second action with Lalia. That's a 0, comes back to my hand. We're going to do a free rest. So this moves from the 3 to the 2. We're going to flip our activation token. So now both of us have taken a turn. We decrease the turn token from 13 down to 12. Mission check. There, we don't have to update anything. Enemy turn. Enemy 1 is going to pull the closest player within line of sight. There is none. It does damage. At the end of its activation, there's no enemy. It's just going to move toward the player with the lowest shield. So it's going to go 1, 2. Player number 2 is going to move toward the player with the lowest shield. It's going to go this way. And again, we're going to go 1, 2. So now we have line of sight, still not in range, but it's going to give us an opportunity to, again, to try to still do this via the stealth method. So Zalia's turn. So by the way, so all of this is over. Oh, I could have just done 2 turns in a row with her. But then Zalia would have been screwed. Yeah, one of them would have been screwed. That's fine. So, what are we doing now, kids? Zalia might make a break for it around here. I just... But Zalia does, as long as Zalia doesn't enter turn there, we're still technically good. But this is Zalia's. Ooh, I can pass through other characters when I move. How fancy. There is a door here, which I kind of like. Maybe Zalia. I don't think this is possible. I want it to be possible, but I don't think it's possible. But I mean, I can smush these guys. That I'm not worried about. Problem is, if I get in here, this dude's still moving 4, so he's he's always moving. He's always moving toward Lalia. So I think Lalia is gonna need to break for it. This guy is actually pretty slow. So Zalia is going to go and just try to take care of this console, because it's going to take this dude a minute to get over there. So we are going to do this dodge and bolt, because we really want to get next to that thing. So we're going to put this in a 2 slot. It's a move 0, but we roll 3 dice. And I can pass through other characters when I move if I have enough moves to land on the other side. So I roll that. I got 4 movement, which is beautiful. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to nestle myself in that corner. And now we can start interacting with that console. So I don't have great interaction skills. Decipher device. I can do that, or I get the guaranteed 1. Let's do the guaranteed 1. So I'm going to do a basic interact action. I'm going to roll a die. I got +1, so I have an interact action of 2. This is my second action this turn. I'm pulling 2 of these tokens. Remember, the 2 whites are out and there's a red out, so pulling more reds would not be great. So we have a yellow. I have an interact action of a 2. I got a purple, so I get to keep 1. I'll keep the yellow for no good reason. Put that there, so we need to get up to 3. This comes here. End of my turn, we put this, we flip the activation token over. We decrease this by 1. This actually, at the end of the action, came back to my hand. And we are done. We do the enemy's turn. Enemy 1 is going to, there's no one in line of sight. It's just going to move 2, 1, 2. Again, it cannot move through each other. Enemy 2 is going to go 1, 2, and then 1, 2. Hello, because it's always going toward the least health. And then it's going to do damage to the same or nearest player. It does have line of sight from me there, but it did not end the player turn. At the end of a player turn, or if they attack an enemy. So we're getting attacked, which isn't great. I take 2 damage because that's the damage they give. I have 3 shields, so now I'm down to 1 shield. I do have a special ability that me taking attacks, I have ways to kind of shrug it, but all of that's very much not great. So we're going to go to Lelia's turn to see if she can't get herself very, very far over here, but that's going to be really hard. So Lalia's turn. Oh, this 2 would have gone on to a 1. Again, free rest at the end of Zalia's turn. Unpredictable move. Yeah, because we want to get ourselves. We're so toast, my ghost. I would need like move 300, dude. It's just not happening. It's not happening. Then they gotta do the console, and that's taking forever. All right, I think I've given up on this dream of being a stealth master. 2 damage. These drones have no shield, so that's fine. Well, I have a laser sniper, but I have to be within range 4 to 8. Obviously, I'm a lot closer than that. Getting 5 damage on you is going to be... Yeah, I don't want to take all of these hits. That's a problem here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Range 3. I could shrug. Yeah, the fact that he's always going toward the player with the least shield is going to be pretty hard to overcome. I mean, one thing I could do is like come here, but I mean this dude is just gonna keep smashing me. All right, let's see how much move I can get. All right, so I'm gonna roll. I have a move 0. I roll 3 dice. I got 4 move. I can go. I don't think I could do. That would be. I don't know if I could. I don't think I could do that. I do think I need to come. I could go like here. One, two, three, four. The activated player is, oh, it's only going to move 2 if it's within range and line of sight of a player when it ends its activation. And then it won't move again. So this is actually more doable again. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to stay close then because that gives me a +1 on my next turn. Oh, I guess that's the same as just moving here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If I come here, I'm not within range. I am within line of sight, and it's still R2 instead of R1, so it's not going to do this. And will it only move as far as it needs to get line of sight, which I think is accurate. Enemy standees, enemy priority. The lowest initiative. Damage and damage cards, healing damage, movement points. This should be a little clearer. If it can get within range, it doesn't say if the enemy will do full movement. Enemy setup, move. They can move. Damage. The image next to the map, rotate on the grabbing, colored font, the shield hit points. The actions. Will move towards. Yeah, it just moves with the intent of getting within range of which it could deal damage. So if I move just here, it would just move 1 to do damage to me, and I kind of like that. And then I could kind of run around and totally get out of line of sight, and it will still move toward me because I have lowest initiative. All right, so the puzzle, this could be pretty cool. By the way, right now, this is my 4th turn. I've been remembering that. Great. So now I put this in the 2. Now I already have a card in the 2, so that wasn't the most efficient. So it actually has to go into 3 instead. But now I'm going to do this basic move. I have plus, I don't have the +1. I'm going to roll a die. I got a 1, and I'm going to move 1, 2. I do not end my turn within range and line of sight. I'm just within line of sight. So this is a 0, comes back to my hand. Free rest action. These both come here. And now we do the enemy activations. They get no one within line of sight for this dude. So he's going to move toward me. So he's going to go 1, 2. And then this guy is going to move just to get within range. It's within range. It does 2 damage. I have 1 shield. Did I roll any shield? I did not roll shield. Woof. I take 1, so 1 I could absorb, and now I have to draw a damage card. Bam, that's supposed to go into 2. So let's look at taking damage, make sure I'm doing this right. Ready characters, campaign books, enemy standards, enemy's turn, procedures, priority, damage cards. Players can be dealt damage in many ways. Receiving damage, target player must first use any available shields. Any amount of damage that cannot, so 1 damage per. Result in a player getting 1 damage card. Resolving damage cards. When damage cards are drawn from the top of their pile, resolve it 1 at a time. Follow the instructions when drawn in order they are written. Place this on the 2. If there is already an action card in the slot, the player that gets the action card back. So I get this card back, which isn't terrible. And this goes here instead. If there is already a damage card on the slot, then the damage card has to go in the next available slot higher up. But that was not a damage card, it was an action. This cannot be done. So if I was going to become unconscious, though, I do have this thing. Once per enemy turn, I may ignore or discard the first damage card that would make me unconscious. So that might be something helpful. I do want to start rolling shields to get my shields back up. Remember, I already did use a reroll here. So that's not great. Now, he's only going to move once because if the active enemy is not within line of sight, we add that. But we don't have to add that because we do end within range and line of sight there. Oh, but now we're screwed. No, that was Lalia's turn, right? Right. That's good, because now she can go again. This should have come down here. I did forget to do that. I'm forgetting a whole bunch of things, kids. And now we're good. Right, because now she can go, yeah, because what we're going to do is we refresh both of these, because we've taken 4 turns, we went to 14 down to 10. And now Lalia on her. So I'm playing on insane difficulty. So there's the easy difficulty is you just do the when drawn effect. There's the intermediate difficulty, ongoing. All non-basic actions have -1 die. So that's non-basic actions. So the basic move, basic interact are here. The rest of these are any die that are pictured there is always -1 die, minimum 0. And then with discarded, I move a damage card 1 to the right. I move a damage card, but if I don't have another damage card, then that's going to be ignored as well. So these damage cards just really just jam your hand up pretty good, as you can see. So I'm going to start coming this way now, which is super great. And they're all going to start coming toward me over here. So the stealth way is perhaps not the greatest way. I should have tried this, but I did it, and that's what we're sticking with. Woof. Don't die, Lalia. We love you. All right, so Lalia is going to go first this time. I say first because they both had refreshed actions. And we're going to get the hacking drone back next turn. They're going to move 1, 2, 1, 2. I need to get all the way over here. So I'm not in range at the beginning of their turn. They're moving 1, 2, 1. They're moving 1, 2, 1. I don't want line of sight there either. Woof. Well, we're going to get as far as we can. I wonder if I could have... If I moved here, which was illegal, it would have been 1 there, has line of sight from there, I think. Center to center. No, that cuts off too much. We got 1, 2. That was line of sight. And would have attacked me. Would that have changed their movement? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, it still would have done that. That makes a little more sense. And then I got around the corner, and it makes it a little easier to get over there. So I just changed her movement on her last turn a little bit. So this is a non-basic action, so I'd have one less die for this, and that's rough. So shock is already shocking me. Let's see how we can do here. I got 3 movements, so that's a good roll with that. Unpredictable movement can't go there. It has to go there. So 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2. It would attack me. 1, 2. Kind of need to get down. This is impossible. I'm doing this the wrong way. I'm going to do 1 here. It is a basic action, so I don't lose a die from this. So I'm going to roll this. I got 3 movement again, which is a beautiful thing. I do not want to be within line of sight of that dude coming around the corner, though. And that would be line of sight to there. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 2, I'm out of range here. And then I could just move and do this. So basic card goes back into my hand. Free rest. I get my drone back. These all move down 1. So we're about to lose that danger card, that damage card. So hopefully we don't have another one, because when that's discarded effect could be pretty bad. So end of my turn. I flipped this prematurely because, I do that. So I did a free rest action. I flipped that. I decreased this by 1. And then the enemies activate. No one's in line of sight. It moves 1, 2 because it's going toward the lowest shield. This guy moves 1, 2 to the lowest shield, and then 1, 2. It is out of range. It is trying to indeed kill me, though. We're going to go to Zalia's turn. Zalia still needs to hack this thing. We're going to... There's 1 yellow there. I have a feeling we're going to end up killing these things anyway, but hopefully there's some value in disabling one of these suckers. So we're going to do the Cipher device. I'm rolling 2 dice, and it's a 0. +1. That sucks. I'm going to roll this again. That sucks. I'm going to... can I keep rolling that? I don't know if I can re-roll things. I think I can keep re-rolling it. I may boost... Hold on. Interacting, effects, play sequence, concentrate. There's a timer going off like crazy in the kitchen right now. I need to call my wife. We're gonna do this live on television. Live on the YouTubes. Hey, the food's beeping.
Sorry. Oh my God, sorry.
Okay, you're live on YouTube. Love you. Sorry. Interact. Where the heck is the reroll thing? Wolf. Killing me, guys. You may boost. on legacy folder. Player's turn. Player 1 action. Roll a number of dice. You may spend 1 focus to reroll 1 die 1 time. You can spend as much focus as you like have. Okay, so I think I can keep doing that. It doesn't say 1 time per action. So I can spend a focus and I can keep re-rolling this. That's horrible. There we go. So now I got a 3. So the action has a natural 0, but now I have a 3. I want 2 yellows because I'm trying to do this console thing. I got 2 yellows and a red. That's what came out of my bag. I was trying to get another one, and then I just pulled those 3 out. They fell out. It is what it is. It was serendipity, kids. So I keep all the yellows. The red goes away. We've actually hacked this console. That was my first turn. My first action. This would go into 1. It can't, so it goes into 2. And now I need to try to go and run and help Lelia here because she is in trouble. So we have no real running action. We're going to do a basic move. That's move 1 and +1 so I can move 2. Burp, burp. Let's try to get back and give her help. That's 0, comes back. The 2 becomes the 2 and the 1 goes to a 0. This goes here. And that flips this over. This goes down to here. The enemies activate. Now, still not in range, is in line of sight. 1 does not. Does 1 have line of sight? Oh no. Does it have line of sight? They put dots in the center of all these, which I appreciate. I don't think it does. So I think that's a 5x4 grid. I think that cuts off the corner. Yeah, it'd have to go through. I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell. It looks weird. I think it cuts off that corner just to get to that center. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no line of sight. So we still have the stealth option available to us, but this is not looking good. So that's gonna go there. Checking the chat, nothing there. So 1 is just gonna move 2 steps closer. 1, 2. Oh. 1. Oh no. Am I gonna get? I'm getting walloped. One, 2. I'm gonna get attacked twice. Woof. Oh, there's no way this is gonna end well. I have to kill all these things anyway. Shoot. Yeah, I need to start attacking. But I can't play a card where I have a damage card there, and I'm about to take 7 damage cards. Yeah, because it's gonna move. Activated player is not within range of line of sight of a player, but it ends its activation. When an activated enemy, it includes this. It moves, it attacks. So I take 2 damage cards. First one puts in a 3. When drawn, lose a thing, place a card on the 3. Ongoing, I cannot utilize rerolls. When discarded, no effect. I draw again. This goes into 1. It can't go into 1. It has to go here now. Oh, does it go into 2 and put the 2 back on my hand? It might put the 2 back on my hand, which would be nice. Player just draw a new. There's already a damage card in that slot. The player must place this new damage card on the next available slot higher up on the track. I do think 2 is an available slot for a damage card, the way this reads. Yeah, that's fine. So this goes back in my hand. Now this guy is gonna move 1, so he's just activating. He's not gonna add the instant. I get attacked. I draw 2 damage cards. So 1 next available slot is here. When drawn, lose a shield. I can't lose a shield. I wouldn't be taking damage if I. What the? That's weird. I wonder if that's an error. Ongoing. Yeah, of course. I only took you because I had no shield. That's crazy. And oh, there is no ongoing effect. That's a really weird card. When drawn, lose a shield. All right, and it has no. Oh, place this card on the 1. It does have a thing. I don't understand that card at all. And then we have this one. Place this card on the 3. I can't. I would be unconscious. Instead, I get to ignore that because of Lilia's ability, and it just gets discarded with no effect. Holy crap. If she goes unconscious, that is an interesting development. I think she could open the door, but she can't play any cards. Because I have. So I can only do basic actions. That makes sense. That makes sense, but I am oddly going to be very dead. Ongoing, I can't use rerolls. I don't understand laceration. That seems like a mistake. But yeah, I think you just have to kill these dudes. I just don't see how you're gonna play that runaway game, hack into 2 more things without. And it's the end of a player turn. We haven't attacked an enemy yet. Well, might be time to attack, but I can only play 0s now. And I could try to force my rest up, but I mean, the problem is I am very much in line of sight of these suckers, and there's really nothing I can do about it. I can't use a reroll anyway. Lose a shield. I'm very confused about that, because I think you only draw damage cards when you have no shields. Like, you literally have to spend all your shields. Maybe there's some players that don't, but that's a very weird. When this gets discarded, I have to move another card to the right, but I can't. I mean, there's an argument as to rest twice, but I'm about to get pounded. And again, we're going to end up going to success 1. All right. Well, both of us have our full actions back. That's right. It's our 7th turn. By the way, there's this is the legacy of the Burning Suns, is the subtext of the campaign, and there is another game that Emil designed called Burning Suns, and so I think this is like the 3rd game. They're his 3rd listing on BGG, but this seems by far his most ambitious. But I literally. Yeah, I can't even rest. I can't. They're both within 3, so I can't even like rest, get my 4 back, and then play laser because like they're both too freaking close to me. But if I rest, maybe there's a card that doesn't get put into my thing. But then I'm just gonna get. absolutely destroyed at Zalia's turn anyway. Oops. Yeah, don't try to do this mission stealth. Is my humble recommendation. Ah, it's so gross. I can't even use this. I would just love to snipe them, at least get some damage on them, so Zalia has an easier time. So one person can be knocked and can be unconscious, but as long as they both aren't, and then unconscious players, I'm assuming, are just ignored by enemy activations. That would make the most sense. Yeah, the rulebook's gonna have to be a little polished up. I'm assuming a lot of that process has already happened. Yikes. Damn it. I felt so good about what was happening. The nearest player closer. I can try to move twice. I cannot get out of line of sight. I can't even try to end up out of this door. So who's the worst? Two's kind of worse than one for sure. So we're gonna do a basic move. We're gonna get knocked out. Is what it is. We'll figure out the rules from being unconscious together. So I'm moving one. It's basic, so I get to roll that. I have two. Oh, or I can take a shield. It's not gonna matter. So yeah, I don't think a shield's gonna help me right now. So that's fine. I get the basic move back in my hand. We're gonna do a basic interact. I can deal 1 damage to an adjacent enemy. Now there's no shield on these dudes, so they're gonna take the full amount. We are going to heal an adjacent. Yeah, so you can't heal yourself. You can only heal an adjacent unconscious character. So I'm rolling this basic interact. I get 1 die. Oh, 3 damage to this dude. Now again, the dials would be super nice. Instead, we have these little poker chips to say there's 3 damage on him. And he'll be dead soon. Lalia hopefully can take it down. All right, this is a 0, comes back in my hand. And in my turn, we do a rest. This comes out. It's when discard of effect goes away. These also make room. Systematic hunting. Pull the nearest player 2 closer. So that happens. Doing 2 damage. We're going to draw this. It is minor fracture. Place this on a 1. It can't. It goes here. Don't movement cards at -1 move. With discard to move an action card 1 to the right. That's fine. I draw another one. This would make me unconscious. I get to ignore it because of life support drone. But then this guy does have line of sight, doesn't have to move, is going to attack me. It doesn't have to, again, it doesn't move, attacks me 2 damage. I get knocked out. Move a damage card 1 to the right, discard. So it actually doesn't have to go in a slot, but I can't carry out what it's supposed to do when discard and move an action card to the right, but I think that's still fine. I carry out as much as I can. I'm only knocked out if I have to add a 5th card, and I can't, is I believe how that's supposed to play out. Enemies. Placing damage cards. Alright, so I'm not unconscious for this because it doesn't get placed, it just gets discarded. One more. And nope, I lose a reroll. Place this on the 2. I can't. So I am unconscious. Now, let's figure out unconscious. Healing damage. Why? Okay, this needs to be. If a player cannot place a thing on their track, they become unconscious. Discard the unplaced card. If not already flipped, flip the activation token to exhausted. I should have flipped this. I'm sorry. I should have actually taken that down too. I'm the worst. The unconscious characters are not considered by enemies. They still occupy the hex. You cannot affect unconscious characters. Now, this one, she's going to go sleep right there. They can be healed with regular healing or through basic interact. When at least one is removed from their track, the character is conscious again. Flip the character's interface back to ready so the player can take turns hereafter. Alright. If a character is unconscious when an update happens, it teleports players or changes map admission. They transfer to an indication of the current condition, and all allies lose 2 of these things. And that's fine. Great. So she just went to sleep. So now it's the Zalia turn. It's the Zalia show all over the place here, kids. Fine. We were so close. The irony is if I just rested, didn't put 3 damage on this, we would have managed to survive that pretty well. But we'll be able to do some significant damage here, I think. So there's unblockable damage, there's damage. Do I have any range attack? Do damage within an enemy range 4. I think I just do some movement. He's going to move forward toward me now, so I think I just kind of let them come at me a little bit. So we're going to do a basic move, 1 plus 2, so 1, 2, and 3. I might have forgotten. I wonder if I got to take an attack early in this. I think I did actually, because I think he came around the corner, and it was a range 3. Or maybe I didn't, but they were there. I think I just moved him forward, maybe forgot to do an attack. That would have worked its way out by this point, but just a rules thing. Not that worried about it. All right. Move. And 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, I'm gonna get attacked. I don't think there's any way around that. So I'll just move the basic move again. I move 2. I can upgrade a shield. My shield's already good, so I'm gonna just move 1 and 2. All right. That's fine. This flips. This goes down. We have 6 turns left. Enemy activations. He goes 1, 2. This guy goes 1, 2. Has range and line of sight. Does 2 damage. I lose 2 shield. And now we go to refresh. Zalia's turn. Again, he only has 2 health left. Alright, we're dealing 2 damage to an enemy within range 4. I put this on the 2. Even if, I could have... yeah, right, I wouldn't have actually taken damage. I should have taken a shield off, and I'm pretty sure it would have been an attack on them at the end of Lelia's turn when Lelia came in here. And they would have just had shield, but I could have rolled things and gotten shield back, so it is what it is. So 2 damage to the enemy range 4. I don't roll any dice. It's just 2 damage. So this dude's dead. Again, our whole success parameter now is we just have to eliminate all enemies. So that's my first action. My second action is to move. Yeah, we just want to be in a place to kill this dude, so I'm going to move. Ooh, I move 1, and I'll move 1 there, and I'll get a shield back. Excellent. All right, this guy moves. He does not have line of sight, so it does It's going to move 1, 2. Now it has line of sight. It's going to attack, do 2 damage. I go down to 1 shield. This should have been here. This should have been here. Did forget to do that. Sorry about that. And this would have been over here. All right. This refreshes. I'm the only conscious character. Again, this sucker only has 5 health. We're going to play this in the 4. I do 4 unblockable damage to an adjacent enemy that is adjacent, so 4 damage. And then I will do a basic interact. I'm doing 1 of damage to an adjacent enemy. I roll a die, gives me a shield back. We've killed this guy. So this that way of doing that was a lot easier than trying to do the consoles. That was my second action. I'm going to do my free rest. This moves down to a 3. This moves down to a 4. And now we do the mission check. Oh, this flips over again. So I do the mission check. Oh, I have hit a condition. I've killed all enemies. So now we go to mission update 1A with Lelia still very unconscious and very pissed that we tried to do the stealth thing first. So remove 1 blocked entrance. And all patrol droids. Well, they're killed, so they've been removed for a minute. This gets removed and replaced with a door. Where are my doors? Where are my doors? This is a door. Okay, and then we're going to put a certain token here. There is no behavior card for the enemies. So we're going to put this back and I just kind of kept these in alphabetical order. It makes life a little easier. Umbrecia says, good job, Commander. You're certainly showcasing that stealth can be achieved no matter the team's size. Oh, wait, did I? If success through elimination, I go to mission update 1B. Sorry, so I ignore that page altogether and we go here. That makes more sense. All right, 1 door, so same stuff gets added. Umbrace says, they say if you have a hammer, every problem starts to look like a nail. It appears the same is true for guns. At any rate, good job. We have access to the station systems and are scanning for any leads. Wait a minute, we're detecting a major gas leak. I don't know if it was caused by your wanton destruction or some other fault in the system. Get to the fuel control room, shut off the gas supply, and start the ventilation system before the whole place blows. It seems that this door's locking mechanism is enhanced. Success. We have 2 turns. Woof. Get the commander adjacent to the POI. Holy crap. Now the commander thing is weird. That you choose a different commander every scenario. I mean, I would have just chosen Zalia. That gets a little lost on me. Triggers additions. The door to the fuel control room must be open with 4 matching tokens instead of 3. Gas leak turn spent after the turn token reaches 0 result in every player losing 1 focus and 1 shield at the beginning of every turn. Introduction note, as this is a condition which results if you lose focus of the shield, it does not mean that you will take damage once you have no more shield to lose. Every player means every player and not just a player whose turn it currently is. Alright, so this doesn't end, there is no failure for this mission, it's just like how quickly can we get up to that point of interest. Okay, well, I really should probably try to bring Lilia back because she'd be better at this than me, and give her a time to kind of get rid of these damage cards. So let me move this. I'm going to do dodge and bolt. So this refreshes. Dodge and bolt. I roll 3 dice. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement. So excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am adjacent to where Lelia is sitting. And now I'm going to do a basic interact. I'm going to heal an adjacent unconscious character for 1 damage. I roll that. Oh, +2. That seems too good to be true. Is that too good to be true? Let's find out, kids. Nope. Effect. Performing an action. Enemy setup. Damage. Can I just remove whatever ones I want? Healing damage. Some actions make it possible to heal. The player plays regen pack. The player rolls a 1. Oh, yep. You could discard any 2 we want. I could discard any 3 I want. So that was an amazing roll. This is a 0, comes back into my hand. That was my second action. When discarded, move an action card to the right. There's no effect for that. And I'll discard these 2. And now I'll start having a normal turn. That was my second action. So we go to the rest. We end the turn with a free rest action. This goes down. This goes down. And we flip the activation token. We decrease this down to a 1. Most excellent. This goes here. And we now go, we refresh both their things because both their batteries were down. Lelia is like, "Hi, thank you for waking me up. That was so nice of you." That's how she talks. And she's going to do a basic move. We're going to roll this. We can move 3. 1, 2, 3. We'll get in front of that door. That's a 0, comes back to my hand. And now we'll play. Oops, I'm using the wrong deck of cards. We're going to play this drone. Nope. Yep. We need 4 matching instead of 3. Did we refresh the tokens? That's what I don't. The matching tokens might have gone. Maybe should go back in the thing. Interact. Line of sight. Interacting with objects. They only go back in the bag once the mission is concluded. Woof. So we need 4 matching tokens. Remember, 2 of the wilds are out. So we definitely don't want yellow. We definitely don't want red. We're interacting at a 2, and that cannot be enhanced. What? It can't be enhanced. That's rough. That is rough. All right, so here we go. We're only pulling 2. We do roll these 2 dice, though, because we might get shields back. We get a shield. Yay! And now we're going to see about this. I got 2 reds. That's terrible. There's only, well, I guess there's 8 reds in the bag. Am I right about this? Yeah, I think I remember this wrong. So if only 1 red's out, maybe this isn't the worst idea. I think there's 8 reds in the bag, because to start with, there's 4 whites, there's 8 reds, 8 blues, 8 yellows. Great. So we need 2 more reds or 2 of the last 2 whites that are in there. End of the turn, we're going to do a free rest action. So this last damage card goes away. This goes down to a 2. This goes down to a 0. All right. Turn spent after reaches 0. So now every player loses 1 focus and 1 shield. It's going to hurt Zalia more than it's going to hurt Lelia, based on where we're at. That was Lelia's turn. Zalia has to go now. She can interact from where she is. She's going to interact with an adjacent object. She's going to roll 2 dice. She got 4 movement. Amazing. That's great. We're going to re-roll both of those dice, get down to 0 focus. I got 4 movement again, so I interact for nothing. This goes in a 1. This goes here. That was awesome. And now I'm going to do a basic interact. I'm interacting 1 at minimum. I roll that. Hey, 2. There we go. So I get to pull 2 of these things. I'm looking for reds. I need to get in that place. Oh, I pulled a red and a yellow. All right, these are not the final thing. They get stuck together, and it's not great. So I put a red there. The yellow goes back in the bag. At the end of my turn, all players lose a shield and a focus. So basically, that essentially is going to go away. I did have a free rest action, so these would have gone down. And again, these are turns after 0. We now, that would have gone. We refreshed both of these suckers. And Zalia is going to try to finish this off, or do we just kind of go back or to Lelia? Lelia would do this. All right, so turn spent at the beginning of every turn. So yeah, this goes down to 0. So I actually wouldn't have even had that reroll. I would have only had 1 reroll last turn because it happens at the beginning of the turn. So just had to read that a little more carefully. So we're going to do a basic interact. We're rolling a die. I rolled a 3, so I get to pull 3 tokens. I need 1 more red or 1 more white. Oh. I mean, sure. I'll stop pulling there because there's 1 more white in there. That's 4. So at the end of this action, we successfully hacked that. And now we can do a basic move. Again, Zally is the commander. I have a move of 2, so she's at 1, 2. She is adjacent. Actually, I'll just move 1. Let's not move too far in there because why show off? This comes back here. We're going to do the end of the turn sequence where we get a free rest action. This comes back. This goes over. We flipped our activation token, so Lelia has to take the next turn. This decreases. Well, we don't have to do that because, again, we were spending turns after it hits 0. We do a mission check. Yes, we are adjacent to the point of interest, so we have to go to mission update 2. Mission update 2, the door slides open. Embracius, Commander. We're picking a life form in the fuel control room with you. Check it out, Commander. We can't risk being compromised by a witness this early on. Female engineer in person. Please don't hurt me. I wasn't trying to. Please just let me go and I'll be on my way. I won't tell anyone about you. I just work here from time to time. I swear. Embracia says she can't be trusted. Why would she be here if she wasn't affiliated with the Hellfires? She may have caused the leak to sabotage you. Besides, she's now a witness, and we can't have that killer. That's an order. That way we know she won't talk, and nobody will care about one more missing human around here. Female engineer, no, no, please, I beg you. Will you kill the female engineer? No, I'm not going to do that, on camera at least. Players may debate, but all are then called to vote simultaneously. The commanders vote breaking ties. We voted no. We go to C2A mission update 3. C2A mission update 3. Otherwise, we would have done the C2B mission update 3. Woof. That seems pretty evil. All right, so C2A mission update 3. So I have no shields left. I have no rerolls left. So I guess that was the point of that little exercise. The players who voted, they all voted yes or no. They all. Oh, we just got some bad stuff with Embracius. So we have to paint in some things. So we voted no. So we did not follow orders. So even though so I guess this isn't like a zero-sum game. It's not like a pendulum. It's like burp. So we have a very conflicted relationship with Embracius. There and there. And how dare you? I don't pay you to disobey me, Commander. You had better know what you're doing. During your exchange, the engineer slowly moves backward through the door. Suddenly, she bolts out of the room and manages to reach the exit with her own craft docked and ready. The comm and the control lights up as the message comes through. Your white knight syndrome is commendable and kind of cute, but I'm afraid your boss was right. Don't worry, you will be around to apologize to him. And I didn't even get your name. Oh, what a bitch. All right, we have the data. Get back to the ship ASAP before we all come to regret your lack of judgment. We go to mission update 4. All right, remove all blocked entrances. Place patrol. So patrol droids 1 and 2. We have them back. They're gonna go red 1 and red 2. So they're here and here. And we're also going to get sweeper drones in the yellow section up here. This will be a lot easier when they're not pieces of paper that I'm trying to fold here. Sweeper drones. Nope. That's a reaver drone. It's a different kind of drone, people. Sweeper drone number 1. Looks kind of badass. That's a mech. Sweeper drone number 2. All right, they have no shield. They have 5 movement. They do 1 damage, but they need to be in range 2 to do that. But we will have our yellow enemies. So I need yellow enemy stand number 1. That's going to go here. And we need yellow enemy stand number 2. That's going to go over next to his friend. Done. Self-destruct sequence. So the card we want is self-destruct sequence, and it's going to be on the right side. So, all right, that was Lelia's turn. That was Azalea's turn. Now it's Lelia's turn. Reds are activating. The activated enemy was damaged last turn. We use this instead. Last activated player deal 2 unblockable damage to all adjacent players and deal 1 damage to itself. Woof. Board game officer, what scenario are we doing? This is just the second one in chapter 1. And I tried to be stealthy, and I just wasted a lot of time trying to be stealthy. Didn't really work. It was remarkably easy to smash these guys, but I do think that's a character. Zalia is just an absolute beast. I didn't even use her 1 free reroll per action. That's something else I need to get better at, remembering her abilities. Enemies always go first after the mission. Oh, I did forget that. So enemies always go first because remember you do the mission check, and this is actually a very helpful player aid, by the way. It's for the size. There's a lot of information considering the size. The things I haven't talked about yet, man, I could do a concentrate action where I gain 2 focus back. I could do a rest to try to advance this along. I just haven't had a good opportunity to do that. So the enemies will go first. So red's gonna go. Red 1's gonna go after the last activated player. So they're gonna go 1, 2. No one's in range 2. And this guy's going to go after the most distant player. Well, it's kind of the same person. They're going to go 1, 2, and they're going to chill there. And as far as like the movement, like it's like Gloomhaven, would it keep moving if it doesn't actually get closer, or do you assume infinite movement? I think the fact that they can't move through each other, I think you just always move their max movement if they're not in range to attack. And now you're going to start seeing the flipping, which again, I really, really like it. So Umbracia says, I knew it. That ungrateful piece of work has just activated a sweeper droid patrol. They're equipped with anti-tamper self-destruct. We can't hack them. Well, I guess this is very much your own causing. We won't be staying around forever. Hurry up. Turn limit is 7. Eliminate all enemies or get all players on board the ship. When the enemies appear, they always go first after the mission has been updated. The ship is part of the map. It can be boarded or exited by all characters, and that essentially is just there's like kind of those 2 things being connected there. The turn reaches 0. All players or if all players are unconscious, all are recovered after the mission, painting 1 scar. So let's not do that. I think we can kill these enemies fairly easy. It's a lot more fun anyway. So Lalia's gonna go, and she's like, you know what? You jerky jerks knocked me out. I didn't like it. It goes after the most distant. It's just gonna kill itself. Hell yeah. Oh, wait. Yes. Wait. Do I have line of sight? 1. I think I do. Yeah, I do. Great. So we're gonna do laser sniper. That's what I'm talking about. Goes into 2. No, I'm sorry. It goes into 4. I roll 2 dice. This is Lelia's first action. I'm rolling 2 dice to potentially get some shield. +1/+1, and I have no rerolls, so that didn't do. Oh, I get 2 movement, so I can do movement after this. So that's important. And I think it's really flexible. Like when you get the movement, like you could do the movement before or after or during. Like it's really. I'm trying to remember. Like I just remember doing the playtest or with Emil, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. Potentially here for 4. Yeah. So you could do it in like kind of any order, and it's I really really dig that. So if I wanted to, I could kind of try to gamble to kind of get a movement. So say I was like I could have tried to do this before, where I could have tried to move away and shoot, but if I didn't get a movement, I wouldn't have been able to use it, right? So it's a gambly thing to do with a card that's on 4. So I could have like rested. There's like some really nice depth into the system that again, some of it's kind of was a little lost on me. Within range 4. Great. So I'm going to do 4 damage on this guy. Again, none of these suckers have shields, which is a little weird for drones, but you know, whatever. And then we're going to have the 2 movement I got from my roll to go 1, 2. And then I'm going to play this blaster, and we're just going to kill these guys. That would go on the 2 normally. Instead, it goes on a 3. I deal 2 damage to one enemy within 4 and gain a focus. I don't roll any dice. 2 damage actually just kills this dude altogether. That's what I'm talking about. Or, yeah, I don't want to take any more damage. That's fine. So that guy is dead. I get a free rest action. I move, where's the turn thing? I move this down here. I flip this over. So we have 6 turns left. And now we do the enemy activations. Remember, the yellows are going to activate now. So this flips over because we have yellow enemies. If the activated enemy was damaged, it was not. So these guys only move. These guys move 5 because they're crazy. So the first one's going to go to the nearest player. Nearest player is definitely Lelia. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It has range 2, so it's not going to go any further. It has line of sight. It does 1 damage. I have no shield, so I do have to take a damage card. It goes in a 0. No, it goes in the... I lose a focus. I have no shield. That's fine. I discard this card. When discarded, I move a damage card 1 to the right. I have no other damage card, so that just goes away. And then this guy moves to the most distant player. So clearly still me. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's within range 2. It does 1 damage. I draw a damage card. It goes in the 2 slots. So I lose a shield. Again, I don't understand the lose a shield. You can't possibly have shield while taking damage. Am I missing something? Like, what is going on? Maybe there's other things that give damage? I don't know. But this is weird. So this actually comes back in my hand, and there's no ongoing and no when discarded ability on that. So these go away. Boop. Done. Zalia's turn. Zalia's like, what's going on? I'm stuck in here next to a point of interest, and I let that lady go, and she did bad things to me, and that wasn't great. And, you know, Zalia's just talking a lot to herself. Oh, that's interesting. Nope, no extra die. Zalia needs some stuff. Yeah, I kind of like that. So Zalia is going to do a basic... Yeah, she's going to do the dodge and bolt. She's going to roll 3 dice. So we get a shield and 4 movement. That's also it's a base move of 0. I'm going to go here. Oh, wait. I was here. I could get there. When you may pass your characters when you move. You have enough moves to land on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's cool. I actually didn't pass through any characters. I'm going to get this shield up because I have that. That was an amazing roll. And then my second action, I'm going to put the Exo Thwackery and do 2 damage to all enemies within range 2. I roll a die. Give me a shield. I got a shield. That's what I'm talking about. So I can't enhance that damage. Again, it's not in brackets. So we do 2 damage to all these dudes. So they all have 3. Oh, these guys only have... I didn't really... They only have 3 health each. Wow. I probably should have killed one of them. But remember, they're not even activating this turn because they're still a red enemy. So now we go to the end of Zalia's turn. Zalia is going to... We end the turn sequence. We're going to do a free rest action. This comes back to my hand. These move down. We flip the activation token. Oh, it could have been either of our turns, by the way. That's fine. Great. So that flips. We decrease this down to a 5. Mission check. Nope. Enemy turn. We flip this to the red side. The enemy this activated player was damaged on its last turn, so it's going to move toward the last activated player. It does not have to move anymore to get in range, so it's going to stay there. It's going to deal 2 damage, so my shields go down to 0, and then it deals, and that's unblockable damage. Oh, it's unblockable damage. Oh, that's why you could lose a shield. That makes more sense. So it's 2 unblockable damage. That makes so much more sense. That's crazy. So then you're like losing. That's crazy. So it's just 2 damage to her. So it's a 4. Place it on the 4, discard it, move an action card 1 to the right. And this is when you draw this, place this in the 1. This comes back to Zalia's hand. Range on interact cards have -1, minimum adjacent, -1 range. When discarded, lose a shield. Woof. It's a minor head trauma. All right. So I'm glad I figured that out, because that was actually kind of driving me nuts a little bit. Is there any way to do multiple damage? Maybe. We're gonna do the PS1 blaster. Oh, I can't play that because 2 is full. Woof. Woof, woofity woof, 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 woof. And I have no rerolls. I could like do the basic interact and maybe roll the movement, but that would be risky. I really should kill one of these yellows. Hopefully I was trying to kill 2 of them, but yeah, this being in the 2 is actually really bad. Really bad. All right, we're gonna move 1. I roll this. It's another movement or a +1, so either way it's the same thing. So we're gonna go there, and then we're gonna do the basic interact. We're gonna do 1 damage to adjacent enemy. I roll this. It's a +1, so no shield rolls for me, but I'll kill this guy. I do a free rest. These move down. And I move this down here and flip this. We go to the yellow side. The enemy was not damaged. This is the lowest initiative. It goes to the nearest player, which is either one of these. When there's a tiebreaker, you do the last activated player. So it is going to deal 1 damage to Lalia. 1 damage? Yep, 1 damage to Lalia. I have no shields. So we draw this card. When drawn, place this on the 2, which puts the laser sniper back in my hand. And movement cards have -1 movement. When discarded, move an action card 1 to the right. Fantastic. So these will flip over, and I could choose who I want to go. I'm not gonna really get that back. I could probably kill both of these. Great. So we're gonna do no. That being in the 4 is really gross. I am understanding why this is super annoying. Now, what I think it is, I rest. When this is discarded, I lose a shield. So these all move down. And then I play this card. I deal 4 damage to an adjacent enemy. I don't roll any dice. Now, if this was upgraded, if I was upgraded into green, I would roll a dice. So that gets super interesting. But I will kill this enemy. That's 2 actions at the end of my turn. We're going to then do this sequence. I get a free rest. This comes back. These move over. I flip my activation token. This decreases down to 3. Mission check. No. Enemy turn. Now this will not flip to red because there's no red enemies left on the board. So this guy is going to go. He is the lowest initiative. He goes to the nearest player, attacks the last activated player. He is not doing unbreakable damage or unblockable damage. So I just have him absorb my shield. We go to Lalia's turn. It has to be Lalia's turn. She is going to do a rest. When discarded, no effect. This moves down. And then we're going to do 2 damage to an enemy. Nope. Within range 4 and gain a focus back. That 2 damage is enough to kill this. We're going to do a free rest action with discard and move an action card to the right. And then that still move. I'm pretty sure the timing of that would be this moves over, that goes, and then that still gets its one free rest. I think that makes the most sense. This flips, this moves over. And mission check. Yes, all the enemies are dead. I did not get a board of ships. So all enemies are dead. If success, we go to mission update 5A. Aftermath. On board again, Ambrosius slowly approaches you. Ambrosius in person, Commander, I can't help but wonder if this disobedience was all just sheer insolence, a little challenge to my authority. You were clearly more than capable of taking care of these droids, although I don't see why you'd want to cut it so close. Anyway, get some rest while we get out of here. Ambrosius in person, I hope you all managed to get some downtime. We have a long path ahead of us, and if we're to continue our cooperation, we're going to have to earn each other's trust. I may have rushed to judgment earlier, so let's reset. To begin with, I'd like to know a little bit more about this band of misfits. Care to elaborate on some of your previous exploits? Each player choice. What will you tell Ambrosius about yourself? You tell a story about a valor. You paint one person. Oh, great. So this is where we get to start choosing. Do we want to be inspiring, supportive, cautious, or dominating? And we could we don't have to actually tell. We should actually tell stories. Story time with Greg twice in a row. No, and then we could actually start coloring in one of our little kind of filling in what quadrant do we want to kind of develop personality. You paint your personal direction, you begin to do the story. But the thing is, I don't know when it starts triggering the extra. So here's so if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nah. 1. Oh, interesting. So Lelia starts one up on both, or maybe these might have been filled in by Professor Meg? I don't think so. She starts one up on supportive and on cautious. But I don't know when those trigger. Like, when do the cards... On a player's turn. That's really cool, man. I really like so much of what this game does. Wow. So yeah, if I was up there at all... and boosts the action by paying one of their support tokens, allowing the player... Oh, okay. I don't have the support tokens. That makes sense. So when you start a round, this is making sense. When you start a round, so based on how many things you've colored in, you would basically, all right, I have one token there and one token there, and the tokens, I don't have the tokens in the demo copy, but you'll actually get tokens that look like those shields, and then you could spend them as one-time abilities per time that you spend them to upgrade the cards that have the appropriate thing. So if I had this, I could have, say, the PS1 blaster, I could have just discarded this to get +1 die to the blaster. That's super cool. All right, I really dig that system. Again, my biggest concern right now is just, I mean, I spent 6 freaking rounds messing around trying to do the stealth thing, and I still pretty easily handled these enemies. These are very early on, but I do hope these things start to scale to make it more difficult. But nah, I mean, there's gotta be, there's so much like going on here, man. That I just hope we're not like playing through the story. Like as much as I love the card play, I love the interaction and the fact you can have more new cards. I just hope that it's not too much on the easy side where you're just kind of going through the motions. I mean, you do see how like the damage like stacks though, where you're like, woof, like all I can do is these level 0 cards, right? Um, and those can't be enhanced at all. I'm wondering if there's like stickers and stuff that can go on these. I don't know. It's cool. So that's, I don't know. I worry like again, especially with the demo stuff and like this. I know this isn't great for camera. My 3D camera, my 3-dimensional camera that hasn't been working for me lately, so I didn't even do that. The interact action, just these tokens are fine for a demo. They're really terrible though. So I was really had trouble getting these things out of the bag. So that will all be a better experience. I do kind of like it though. I like that idea of interaction where it's like, hey, we're fiddling with this, and you have a rough idea of how long it will take, but there is some element of chance there. Some of these abilities are just really, really good. I mean, these enemies are pretty squishy, so this scenario really wasn't about that. I am guessing that this scenario would have been a lot better. Um, the reward of you know not killing or of being able to do the stealth version might have been a little bit better. Maybe that's something I should not spoil for myself, but what a and I'm wondering too if it's just like there's 16 different characters, so perhaps like other characters would have had an easier time. I'm not sure, like losing one focus and one shield, that really didn't do much to me. Yeah, if we had killed that. Oh, I read the. If we failed, we read 5B, but clearly that wasn't going to be hard. If we killed her, we got a mission update 3. Mission update 3 would have been here. Wow, so we would have painted something. The hell are those? Then we would have had to just run to the ship. Oh my gosh. So if we had killed her, we get to paint a dot in the folder, but then we would have had to run back to the ship, and we would have all these tiles that are super blocked. Oh, that's pretty wild. I mean, again, it's only 2 scenarios in, but I'm already like, I dig the variety. I think it's easier. Again, my biggest complaint with Gloomhaven was like every mission felt the friggin' same. It was like so like over and over and over again, you do the same exact thing. Kill all enemies, kill enemies. Like Frosthaven's really fixed that. This has a nice variety to what I've seen just in 2 scenarios. So I mean, can that keep up over the course of a big campaign? That's something else too. But yeah, I really don't. I feel like I'm ruining the experience by playing this only with a demo and not having the real thing in play. So that is that. That's going to be the end of my journey in Rogue Angels. Again, ask me in a month if I actually back this thing on Kickstarter. I'm very much leaning toward yes. And the other thing too is that I could see this um, maybe I don't do this with like my heavy gaming group, but this is something else I can do with like I could foresee other kind of groups of people in my life that I could play this with that maybe aren't like hardcore gamers and would kind of enjoy this like super sci-fi story kind of thing. Um, but I definitely worry about the the thing that still kind of sticks out to me is just the difficulty, and if it's too easy, what is what did that say? Because at some point, man, like, I mean, what are these enemies? I mean, 5 health. I mean, the fact that they don't all activate every round. I mean, all right, this guy has 7 health, but they're just kind of. Well, I guess they can't do much more than one. Wait, 1 damage plus a die. This guy's damage is a die. 8 health. Moves 3. Has. Oh, but shield is 2 dice. That's pretty cool. That's pretty crazy. 2 health. It does 1 unblockable damage. The unblockable damage, having the cards that make you lose a shield, I think that's pretty cool. Because if you take unblockable damage, that makes a lot more sense to me. I was really confused. Um, this guy's only doing damage range 1. This mech doing 1 unblockable damage range 5, moves to 7 health. No shield. I don't know. Lot of cool things to explore, and again, there's 16 characters in the base game. I only have 4 in the demo. I think I just used the 2 that it looks like Professor Meg had opened up 2 of them, so I just used the other 2. And then again, all your cards are upgradable. There's like a stack of like 4 cards. There's all these cards over here. I don't fully know what they do. There's like a shared action card pack. I mean, I'm assuming they unlock sometime pretty early in the campaign because there's 7 of these packs here. So, I think this chapter 1 there's like 12 missions here, and you can go online. I think it's like $20. You can just print and play this whole thing. I wouldn't want to, but that's just me. Like, I don't. If you have an amazing printer, though, like that is a pretty cool freaking option. I mean, that's a lot of work that went into this, but man, just like killing that woman in the. It's like, why are you thrusting to the story pretty quick? Kill somebody or not? No, we disobeyed Ambracia, so we've made our relationships a little tumultuous. I guess, yeah, it doesn't say cross it off. It is like you were just literally. I wonder if there's like things in the future if you have more or less, and if you're in the middle, so we're just like totally neutraled out. So you have the Terrans and the Marauders, the Hellfires, a Yeni, a Naru, and then ABESC. Nah, that's cool. I really dig it. Anyway, so this was cool. Thanks again to Emil for sending me the demo, and glad I can get this on the channel. Sorry for, again, with demos and campaigns are tough to like feature because I want to learn the rules, but I really don't want to have to go through half a campaign, and I don't want to spoil things for myself. And I think like having like that first look at a scenario kind of helps with something like this, but it does mean kind of muddling through rules a little bit more. I do have a review copy of 20 Strong, so thanks to Chip Theory Games for that. So that'll be on the channel soon, so look out for that. I also have a review copy of Apiary, which I have played twice competitively and really like. So we'll see how the solo mode is. That was done by the Atoma Factory. So again, that was the recent release from Stonemeyer. So that'll be on the channel soon. I still have some Patreon challenges I have to do. I do want to get back to Uprising. Nemesis Games sent me all the bling for Uprising, and I love that game so damn much. So that's going to be on the channel soon. And then I also have Dawn of the Zeds is long overdue. Speaking of Herman Ludman, going back to the fact that his next game, Plum Island Horror, I think it's called, is about to be shipped soon. So I do want to get some more Zeds action in before I am exploring Plum Island Horror. So, questions, comments, epiphanies, put them in the comment section below. Again, Rogue Angels is on GameFound for now and should be there for a couple more months. But at some point that Pledge Manager will indeed close. But any rules I had wrong, any clarifications, I know Emil's been really active in clarifying a bunch of stuff. You could also play this on Tabletop Simulator and see a couple more scenarios if you think that would help you make an informed decision about whether or not this game is for you. But there's just a lot I like. Again, that it's just that difficulty things. I think that's going to be a thing for me is I need to. There's got to be some threads about the difficulty scaling of this, right? Because you play Frosthaven. I mean, I was playing at insane. Like honestly, I don't find the damage cards that much harsher, even if you're playing with all three effects instead of the top one. I mean, it's like Gloomhaven. You could always scale the difficulty. You just go up a level, down a level. You have 8 levels of difficulty. The fact that you only have 3 levels of difficulty, does give me pause. I mean, I guess you could start doing things like, eh, adding a third character even for 2 players or things like that. If I have to start house ruling a game, that makes it die for me. So that is not something I want to start doing. So it is the one thing, because even you play Madara the first couple of scenarios, or Aeon Trespass Odyssey, those are whoa, this is going to be a challenging game. This game, I do like that there's some failing forward. I think that's good. It doesn't, like Gloomhaven has some of those scenarios where you're just stuck on forever, and I don't, rarely, but it can happen. I mean, Jaws of the Lion for sure had a couple of scenarios, especially if you're playing up a level that were whoa, this is really hard. So we'll see how that scales. But I do like there's some failing forward. I do like that the penalty for failing, just just replay. So it tells you, hey, if all characters are unconscious, just restart. I like how that worked out. I think that's all really smart. Again, all that's really player friendly. But because they have the idea, if you fail, I do hope that failing actually is something that occurs over the course of a campaign, and makes it feel not like we're just going through the motions of the story, right? I am someone who's driven more by mechanics than story in games, but I mean, I will say the story, the packaging, the character building, the world building, I'm really interested in where this world is going in a way that games don't always do for me. It is very much, it's just something. It feels familiar. Like you have Star Wars. I mean, it feels familiar, but it also feels different in a way, because I mean, so many games just go onto those fantasy tropes, or whatever. I mean, it's one of the reasons I really love Uprising. It created this really interesting, unique world that was familiar but different. So I think this game does a lot of that too. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. Ask me in a month. But I went as someone who's really not buying a lot of games, at least not solo games, especially. This game is very much caught my attention, and I think that is a testament to just how good it is, and how much it really delivers on a very nice, familiar dungeon crawler campaign, but just does enough things different that it's I like this one. This might be something worth picking up. So that's about it. I'll be back as soon as I can with another video. It might be another week. I have a bunch of things going on this weekend. One of my gaming friends is getting married. So I'm actually going to be out of town for a little bit. So, but hopefully I can get back on the channel. If not, before I leave town, I'll be back next week and hopefully get a couple of videos on the channel for y'all. We are coming to the end of the year, which is insane. So I do have a bunch of things I do want to get done before we fully wrap this up. I am rambling enough. I'm going to say goodbye for now. And thanks for joining me. Until next time, happy gaming.
Solo.